You are now tuned in to the Windy City Benders podcast. This is WCBP.
All right, it's another edition of the WCB podcast. It's Jarom, it's Tanner. What's up, bud?
I am just doing all right.
Doing all right?
Yeah, man. Hockey's exciting still, even though we're not doing too great this last week.
The hockey gods giveth and the hockey gods taketh I feel is just the big swing of riding high in October or beginning of October, middle October to the end of October and the start of November has just been like just total different ends. And I'm really hoping the start of November isn't a sign for things to come. I do and I don't. We'll get there.
I don't mind them losing, like with this past week of going 0-2-2.
Yeah.
Because of the way that they lost is very similar to the way that they won. It's like the games come down to the wire. Like They're not getting blown out. They're sticking in every game. Like, fuck, man. Like they easily could have gone like 3-1 this week, really, if Edmonton doesn't score in the waning seconds of that game, and then if the Hawks score in overtime or the shootout instead,
or hold the lead against Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly. That's 3 wins instead of 3 losses. But I mean, that's the kind of exciting hockey we get to watch right now, and like at least it's exciting.
That's what I'm saying. Like I wish, like I'm okay losing. Like you said, like same thing. Need to lose. I want to lose. Tank, play bad for Bedard and all this.
It's not even a tank though. It's just like solid hockey that can go either way. And if we lose, I'm fine with it because I would rather lose to get a better draft pick.
I want to lose the way we lost against Edmonton, Buffalo, Minnesota. Close, exciting games. I don't want to lose like we lost to the New York Islanders, because if I have to watch that pace of hockey where it's that slow and that boring for the entire season, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Well, imagine being an Islanders fan and trying to watch that every game because that's their game plan.
I don't know how they do it.
Hey, that's that slow and like punishing bullshit defensive. I guess it's not really bullshit. It's legit, but it's just like boring as shit hockey that like the Devils played in the early 2000s. Where it's like, we're not going to give you anything, and we'll probably get like 3 chances and hopefully score on one of them.
They fired Trotz, but they kept his defensive scheme and all that kind of stuff. And it worked. I mean, it's like, hey, good for you guys. It works. It's just, you can't go from 6-5 against Edmonton with absolute drunk refs calling every little thing in the second period to what we watched yesterday. Like,
how long was that second period? Oh my God.
Second period took 46 minutes of real time to finish.
Good shit. Oh, it wasn't 46 minutes of in-game time?
Right. But like
the periods are still 20 minutes long.
Right. Real time. 46 minutes. So almost like an hour to play one period of hockey. 14 penalties. Yeah. And it was just like every little thing too that was like could have been called was called.
Yeah.
Like it got to a point where I like the ref, I think, just wanted to see how many he can get in. Like if he had a quota or something for the month, he was just trying to knock it out.
It's like usually you start to see them kind of pull the reins on the game because it's like getting a little out of hand. But I feel like the more penalties they called, the more it got out of hand.
like Vander Kane just being let loose and playing like a goddamn idiot.
Yeah, it was a weird one. It was a fun game though.
Holy shit. Was so much fun. And leave it to us to talk about how Connor McDavid shows against Chicago, and then he goes and he puts a fucking hat trick up.
Yeah.
How about the one goal that he scored where he literally hits the lock in the head and it literally bounced up and Jarod's back behind.
That's some like NHL 23 shit, man. That like some video games. That's actually, you know what that is? That's Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is, man. Like when you rip the shot and the goal, it hits the goalie and he flies back into the net. Like that's some shit that happens.
McDavid had 3 goals, 4 assists that game. Nugent Hopkins a goal, 2 assists. Vander Kane 2 assists. Draisaitl 3 points.
He had 3 goals, 1 assist, not 4 assists. Sorry. McDavid 4 points.
4 points. That's my bad.
I was like, he had 7. No, because they had 6
to 5. That's how good McDavid is. He somehow gets 7 points in a 6-5 game.
He actually got a point on Patrick Kane's goal. That's why. Oh man, what just a wild one though. Fucking Hawks were 2 for 10 on the power play, and Oilers were 3 for 7. Like it's just a team like that and a team like Colorado, you cannot take that many penalties. It's you're gonna get scored on. It's not gonna you're not gonna end up with a perfect penalty kill in a game against the Oilers or Colorado
Oh yeah.
and probably Tampa. Like those three teams are guaranteed to score if you're gonna give them a penalty.
The fact that the Oilers didn't just absolutely shit down the Blackhawks' throats that entire game it was very shocking. I think it just showed the confidence that the Hawks had going into that game from the past 3 or 4 games that they were on the winning streak.
Yeah, jeez. It, let's see. What was the score? 2-2. From when it was 2-2 until it was 5-5, every goal in between was a power play goal. Oh my god, that's just so funny. Yeah, I don't know. It was a fun game to watch. It sucks that it ended the way it did with Draisaitl scoring with like no time left. But like I didn't think that it was actually over because it's like I mean, there's a chance the Hawks could just tie it up as well.
I almost called it though too. I said because I got Leon on my fantasy team, I said let's just go to overtime and have Leon score the OT goal so we get the point and I get the game-winning goal. I was halfway there. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a tough one. But it's well, like you said, getting to watch McDavid do McDavid stuff and Draisaitl do Draisaitl things. Like it was so much fun. Ends the 40.
Domi had 3 points anyway too, so like it was a good game like for a lot of players. Kaner had 3 points as well. Like the guys that are supposed to show up are showing up, and that was kind of cool.
Dome again, 75% in the faceoff draw. Like he is so good at faceoffs.
How many faceoffs did he take? Do you know? It
No,
doesn't say.
it doesn't say.
It
That's
just
the
shows
one thing I wish it
percentage
showed. Yeah,
because it could be like 3 for 4,
that's
but I
true.
don't. That's
But I mean,
not like.
he's been taking a decent amount though. I mean, he is the center on that line, right?
Yeah,
He's looking.
yeah. Unless he gets kicked out, then Athanasiou takes it.
I mean, Taves 65% in the draw.
Yeah, I
So
mean, they show like all the. I wish they would show like the actual faceoffs taken. If
yeah,
you just show faceoffs taken and faceoff percentage, I can figure it out. Come on, like easy. But they show just faceoff percentage. It's like, okay, well, good. 75% is great. If it's only 4 faceoffs, then it's not like that impressive. If it's 20, then that's really good.
so that happened. Then we go into Buffalo on Saturday against the surprisingly red hot Buffalo Sabres. Not surprisingly, I know I say
Not
that every time.
surprising.
You know it.
Not surprising. I'm telling you. First 10 games of the year, every year they come out and they get a bunch of dubs, and then they're gonna go on a losing streak. It's it's the same as Toronto is gonna get knocked out in the first round. Like I'm gonna keep saying it till you prove me wrong.
Yeah. The Sabres got ahead pretty quick on this one. About 6 minutes in. Was it Olfsson?
Olofsson,
Olofsson
Victor
scores
Olofsson.
on the power play. Power play or penalty kill did not do good in this game. For Chicago, that Buffalo went for 2 for 3 on the power play. But this game was a vintage Chicago Blackhawks hockey. They tie it up a couple minutes later. Jason Dickinson on the power play. And then Lafferty and Radish both get goals in the second period. So the Hawks are up 3-1, and then it was just all Buffalo. It was all Tage Thompson actually
Yeah,
scores twice in the third to tie it up.
I'm pretty sure one was a rebound and then the other one was like batted out of the air. And it's nothing Soderblom could have done about it because he played a really great game. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is Soderblom was made his debut for the season too.
yeah,
Uh,
he played fantastic. I mean, he makes solid saves. Like he doesn't really give up much. Like the 2 goals in the third period were battles in front of the net after making a save, and it just kind of ended up on Tage Thompson's stick, which is like the kid's like 6'8". He's got reach all around, so it's going to be easier for him to reach a rebound than most other players.
yeah, I didn't realize how big Soderblom was. He's 6'3".
Is he really?
Yeah,
See, it's weird because his Stalock I thought was like that big, and Stalock's like 5'11" or something like that.
yeah. But I mean, he plays a big game.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna go to overtime and does not take long. 36
Well,
seconds.
it's because Tays took a penalty at the end of the third, and so they go into OT, on the penalty kill. And like I was gonna say, like we mentioned, the penalty kill wasn't great, but the team was more disciplined this game. Only 3 penalties. It just bites them in the ass a bit.
which they kind of fluctuate with that. They'll be disciplined, and then they'll have Edmonton Oilers, and they have like New York Islanders game, which we'll get to in a little bit here. What
Oh, I
is with
forgot.
what is with
Oh,
NHL.com and their face-off percentage stats? It never equals 100. Always equals 101%.
that's probably just rounded.
It's so weird.
Like if it's 72.5 and 27.5, they probably just round up to 28 and 73. You know what I'm saying?
It can't be 101% though. There can only be 100%.
They took 101% of the draws. I forgot to mention in the Edmonton game. I was going to ask you, what did you think about the Evander Kane no goal? Actually, not no goal, not no call, no goal.
The Hawk fan of me and the anti-Kane fan of me thought it was the right call. I think looking back at it though, I think Stalock had enough time to reposition himself and play the puck. I think it probably should have been a goal. I mean, what do you
Okay.
think?
I think that they should have just called goalie interference before that play even happened. Like as soon
Yeah,
as
and
he gets like in the crease area and like runs over, not really runs over, but like falls over Stalock, like you should have just called goalie interference right there. Except for they let the play go on, and then he gets up, and like that's where like I'd say it should have probably been a goal. If you're not going to call that right then why are you going to call it after the
after the
fact?
fact, yeah.
It's like you
Just
should have just blown it dead and been like, "Hey, that's goalie interference. Like that's a penalty." Like
it
not
just goes
just like,
back to
"Oh, like we're just going to disallow the goal." Like
yeah, I think it goes back to like a couple of years ago where it was a huge issue in the playoffs. It's just like, what is goalie interference? Again, it's like we don't know. It's like every single time something like this happens, it's like there's a huge debate about is it goalie interference? Is it not? Because there is just not a clear definition of what goalie interference is. And now that I'm like remembering that play more, what frustrated me the most was, and why I definitely think it shouldn't have been a goal, is when he gets falls into him, the way he falls, spreads his arms out, and then lays on Stalock for a solid second, 2 seconds before even attempting to get up.
right.
Like it's a scummy play. Like he's just such a scummy fucking player. I can't stand him.
Yeah.
And I just, but part of me feels like they it was the wrong call. It should have been a goal.
Well, yeah, if they're not gonna call the goalie interference, so I'm saying like then it should have been a goal. But like then they kind of went no call, and they were like, "Oh, we probably should have called that." So it's gonna be not a goal, and then they're
I
like,
also
"What is fucking happening?" Like
I also
he made
fully
the
don't
save.
understand how you can they go to Toronto for the initial, like the ref, like look at it.
Yeah,
No goal, all this kind of stuff. And then Edmonton challenges it. It's like what different what's the difference between the two? Why do you think if they literally went to Toronto and they challenged it and the refs went to Toronto says, yeah, no, that's no goal. What makes you think that the outcome's going to be different by re-challenging the play? I never fully understood that.
I
Like,
have
why do
no
you do
idea.
that?
It
It seems
was
like
yeah, it was
you're just giving away a penalty right there.
yeah, like the review of the goal was a no goal, but then you wanted to challenge a different portion of the play. Is I don't know. It seemed like it seemed
Just
stupid.
yeah, I don't understand it. It's just
I
so
forgot.
dumb.
I just forgot about that, so I just wanted to ask.
No, I know.
Do you have anything else on Buffalo?
No, just that I like Soderblom. I think he looked good.
Yeah.
Super excited to kind of see how he develops, and I hope they do it the right way, which is going to be a debate in a second here.
I was gonna say if it's one of those games where if the first line isn't scoring, because I don't think Kane, Domi, or Athanasiou scored, and I don't. Well, Tay's got an assist, but it's like that third line still with Dickinson and Lafferty, Laffy Dick line, like
Yep.
they're still doing well. But I think we had mentioned before we started recording. I don't believe Kurashev. Yeah, Kurashev was on Taves' line this game. Not having Kurashev on that Lafferty and Dickinson line kind of puts a damper on it a bit. And I wish they would kind of move somebody else up to Taves' line.
Yeah,
But
I want to
having
touch
that
on that
third line scoring, and like during the Edmonton game where like even Reese Johnson got a goal too, just like having that depth scoring and just like not relying on Kane and DeBrincat last year to score every fucking goal in the entire season. Like, it's great to have.
Yeah, and that's the whole, and I guess we could talk about that now really quick. Too. It's just these last 4 games, you really notice the hole that losing Tyler Johnson has created. That they are Richardson is struggling to find somebody to put with Jonathan Toews on that line that really meshes the way it did. It's like how impressive Tyler Johnson, I'm blanking on names right now. Holy crap. Radish and
Radish.
Toews played together. And then like how good the Laffy Dick line with Kurashev, like you break that stuff up, and then just the whole offense just doesn't look the same right now. And
Yeah.
and it's truly showing in a very negative light too. It's like I feel like the power play has been affected by not having Tyler Johnson out there. Yeah, offensive numbers in general. I mean, luckily, Taves is still playing pretty well and all that kind of stuff, but it's just going back to show you like it's when things fit in perfect, like they were during that 4-game win streak, the difference it makes. Holy crap, it's night and day.
Absolutely. What was this, Sunday? They went and played Minnesota?
Sunday against Minnesota.
So this is also the first game without Seth Jones because he injured his thumb, you said?
He's out 3 to 4 weeks with a thumb injury.
Was this the game that Kaner is now third on the all-time list of games played?
So that's good call.
Pretty great. He passed up Brent Seabrook for third all-time in games played in the.
Oh, that was against Buffalo.
It was against Buffalo. Oh,
yeah.
That's perfect. That's so amazing. Oh, and I forgot to mention against Buffalo, in between the periods.
Oh, I still have yet to watch this because I can't handle the
cringe is crazy. Chris Foster's interviews Patrick Kane's sisters, and he's just like asking some simple questions about growing up with Patrick Kane, just being a hockey player, on the road often, and it is just they were not prepared. Like, I don't think they told them ahead of time, like, we're gonna ask you about this, like maybe prepare an answer. Or maybe they were just like extremely nervous because it was his one sister's birthday and she's pregnant. And I don't know if those two things kind of had anything to do with it, but he asked her, like, paraphrasingly, he says, like, what was it like being on the road at hotels for his tournaments, like plenty of weekends throughout the year? And she's like, oh, we were, on the road at hotels, like for all of his tournaments. And yeah. And I was just like, what? Sorry, what? Are you kidding? It was just weird and awkward. And then
it was just repeating the question essentially.
Yeah. And then she just goes, yeah. And it was just so weird. And I was like, what is fucking happening right now?
I don't
and
like
then
you try to do that kind of shit.
He turns to the other sister, and the one that just talked, you just see her just kind of like stare down into space and just shake her head a little bit. I was like, oh, she is flustered like crazy right now. She's just trying to keep a straight face and smiling still. And it's just like, oh my god.
What the
She's
fuck
like,
was that?
That's the worst thing I've ever done. Like, what am I saying? What is going on?
Why would you ask questions like that?
It was just because third all time, he's in Buffalo, like that's where they like went to games a lot, like watching him and like
but you can ask
those Sabres.
You can ask stuff like, hey, did you think when you were going around to all these tournaments with your brother that he would ever get to this point in the NHL? You don't have to be like
that might have been what he said. I was just
was it? So what was it like at the tournaments and the hotels and stuff? Like, is he asking if Patrick's
he's like asking like what was it like being on the road so much because of his like tournaments and staying in hotels on like
That's
these
still, yeah,
weekends.
that's like, you don't,
It's just like you're just kind of hanging around, like
yeah, what is like, I would have asked, yeah, I think asking like, did you ever think that this would have been possible,
Yeah.
or like, could you imagine kind of thing like this? Not like, so what was your experience life of
Yeah.
like going through the Patrick Kane experience and being shuffled around to all of his tournaments and all this? Like
Hey,
what do you expect them to say?
I don't know, man, but it was fucking weird.
God, I am never gonna watch that video.
You should watch it. You
I
should
don't
watch
know.
it. See, it's a challenge. See if you can watch the whole thing. See if you can watch the
I
whole
want to get
thing.
him on the show now to ask him like,
Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
did you come up with these questions yourself? Or they fed to you? Like what
Or
happened?
what was going on in your head when you were listening to these answers?
You see how uncomfortable they were when you were asking these weird questions?
You could see how uncomfortable he was when he was trying to get the answers. He's like he had to like rephrase things because he's just like, I don't know, like there it was just so bad. It was hilarious. I love
what
it.
I've heard, his sisters are pretty smart girls. So if you have to rephrase questions, simple questions like that, chances are you're asking the wrong question.
I think it was just the fact that they're on TV, that they were like, oh shit, I can't think. Like,
I don't know the way you're describing it. I think
oh well, you should watch it then. You should watch it and then tell me what you think.
I'll take your word for it. Anyway, all right. So Sunday, Minnesota came to town. The first time we get to place the mild Marc-Andre Fleury. And yeah, Minnesota is one of those teams that was having a very slow start to their season. And I think we kind of helped them get back on track a little bit. But
Fine, I don't care. They're not going to win anything. They can go ahead and make the playoffs, get a shitty like position in the draft, and then they have 15 million in cap space tied up in two players in the next 2 seasons. But they're not going to do shit. I don't care. Let them be a middle of the road team. They can beat us. It's fine.
Fine. McCabe gets on the board for his first of the year. Lafferty again with another assist, his fourth of the season. Oh God, how do you say it?
What?
The
What?
defenseman Trindord.
Tenorti.
God damn it! I fucking hate
Oh, Jared Tenorti.
Tenorti.
Yeah.
Boldy, Mason Shaw get Minnesota on the board, make it 2-1 after one. Taves again with another goal, his fifth of this season. Talk about somebody who's got something to prove. Ties it up.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's been one of those things that like the only thing I wish that stays consistent with this team is the way he's putting up offensive numbers. Like it's
he's been thriving under Richardson, and it's been great seeing like I feel like last year he's kind of pissed off all the time. Like the team was not good and it was not playing well. Like they weren't even in games.
It was the perfect storm for him. I think it's just people saying that he's washed, he's done, or he's got no value, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And new coach coming in and probably knowing the only way that he's gonna get an opportunity to leave this team is by playing good, because no one's gonna like bite on his contract and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Perfect storm. But we both say his name wrong, or different, not wrong, different. One of us is, you're probably right, I'm wrong. I say Athanasiou.
And Athanasiou.
He gets on the board for his third.
I think they say Athanasiou though.
Athanasiou.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those names I think everybody says it, and he's probably too nice of a guy to correct anybody. Andreas, yeah.
Yeah.
Gets on the board, came with another assist.
Okay, you're just gonna go over this really quickly. The goal of the year. Just the sickest fucking breakaway, like not even breakaway. Just that. That's this goal.
Yeah, he scored a couple. I forgot which one was that goal.
Oh yeah, because the one against Edmonton was just one where it was like he's flying. It was similar. I forgot last week too, or the week prior. He did something where I forgot which game it was, where Cater just sauced it and was like, "Go!" and just fucking.
That was a penalty shot.
Yeah, right? That was the penalty shot one. That's right. Yeah. And then And then against Edmonton, same thing, just drives wide, beats the defenseman, and just tucks it. And then this one where he toe drags around, he was either Dumba or Spurgeon. So it wasn't like some sixth defenseman out there and
Oh,
just
for the top guy.
backhands
Yeah.
and roofs it. And it was just like, what just happened? And like, this is my favorite part about this is like the Hawks have like all of these highlight goals now, because the one against Buffalo that I forgot about, or was it Buffalo? Kurashev? No. What was Kurashev's highlight goal against?
Oh, that was Florida.
Seattle. Oh, Florida. Yes, Florida. Damn it. Holy shit. But like, that's one of the things where I'm saying like these Hawks games are really exciting, even if they're not winning. Like, there's some highlight reel shit in here. Where last year it's like Marc-Andre Fleury has to stand on his head every six games because he wasn't really super great. But like, that was like the only highlights we got.
Here's my question too about this. Are we considering more things highlight goals because they legitimately are, or is it because the bar is set so low that we didn't have expectations for it to actually be good, that when something like maybe routine happens, we're just like, oh shit,
Okay,
we can
do this.
Yeah.
This team is a team. This team can hockey.
Yeah.
No, I think that they're legitimately putting up some great highlights.
Yeah.
And that's I wasn't too sure about the Athanasiou signing, but and the thing that's crazy to me too that I'm just realizing is that's his only third goal on the season. I feel like he has so many already, but like
Because
each one has been like, oh shit.
Yeah. But he would have so many more goals if he can just slow down a little bit,
Oh my
because he
god,
overskates himself, and he he's like the kid that will skate so fast and he'll forget the puck.
yeah.
Like,
I remember seeing a comment on Reddit. I forgot where it was, but it was about Athanasiou's goal, and people were talking about his consistency, and they were just like, he's the type of player where if you watch his highlight of like a goal or two, you're like, that guy easily scores like 35 goals a year, doesn't he? It's like, nope. his most is like 28, and his second most is like 18. And the funniest thing is, so I mentioned before where Domi's most is like 30, and then his second most is 18. Their two like best years of their goal scoring are both in 2018-19. It's really strange.
he had 30 that year.
Yeah. Oh, he had 30, and then Domi had 28.
Yeah.
But they had the exact same year. They had their career goal scoring years, and they haven't touched 20 since then. So I don't know. Maybe.
Chicago cooking, getting them going.
Yeah, man. Like that line has been really exciting.
Speaking of Domi, one thing I really liked about him for this game is when Kane got crunched with the cheap shot, and Domi just didn't even hesitate, jumps in and just starts whipping ass.
Looks like a madman. Like, the way he threw his shit down wasn't, it was like, I'm gonna fucking murder you. And I was like, ooh, okay. We have that guy that everybody fucking hates, and I love him. He's becoming one of my favorite players in the Hawks, man, because
I love him.
he's everywhere.
If he gets moved at the deadline and they re-sign him, like, he's one of those players that I would be like, let's re-explore bringing him back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And seeing like little glimpse of his dad, like in that situation, it's like, oh my god, there's Ty. Let's go. There's Ty's influence right now.
There's a post that he made on Instagram, just like talking about how his dad, like, used to be in the NHL. He was going over the clip where the guy falls into the penalty box and starts eating punches from him.
Oh, yeah.
And then whoever's like doing the interview with him, just like recording it, just like, oh, like, you and your dad win the NHL at the same time, like, peak of your careers. Like, who would win in a fight? He's like, oh, he would absolutely kick my ass. Like, he's like, he was the toughest guy in the entire NHL. There's no fucking way I would have a chance. Like, all right, it's true. He looks like the meanest motherfucker ever.
I mean, it's hard to argue that he wasn't one of the toughest guys. Like, between him and Probert, like, those fights between those two guys, and even Ty has gone and said, and he goes, there was times like I didn't even want to fight Probert because I was just like, I can't do this today. They would, like,
yeah, dude.
God, man, I miss old hockey like that.
Yeah, I'm like the skill hockey though too.
Yeah, but like still seeing guys just beat the shit out of each other for
Yeah,
legitimate reasons, not just
that's
because your star player gets tapped.
yeah. That's the where the old joke comes in. I went to see a fight and a hockey game broke
Yeah.
out.
Oh man.
Um,
But
so
then
then Islanders, huh?
yeah, so we'll real quick.
Your favorite game of the week.
Boldy tied it up, goes to a shootout.
Oh yeah.
Hawks losing the shootout. They go 0 for 3, no 0 for 2 in the shootout. Capri
Yeah,
Sullivan,
they
good
were
job.
mentioning it was weird that Richardson got to choose and he chose to go second. I was like, I don't know, like
I like
I
going.
guess it's I going first like applies the pressure, but like
Last
you can
change.
ice it. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. So I always like because our men's league we've gone to like 3 straight shootouts, and we always pick second when we get the chance because it's like, hey, then it's like I feel like it puts the pressure on the other team. It's like they have to score because hey, we can just come back and tie and they got to keep going type of thing. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, New York Islanders came to town. Yeah, like I said, it was a boring game, but it's
the
what you can
Islanders
do
are gonna
expect from
play
the Islanders. The scariest thing about it was what was that, like 2 minutes into the game?
something
Uh,
like that.
yeah, who was it again that hit him?
Casey Cizikas.
Zizekas. Yeah, Zizekas just rams into Stalak. And the most frustrating thing about it was he had a ton of time and space to avoid it, and he just
Yeah,
kept going. And Stalak hit hard. Head goes into the post, and I don't know if
I
that
don't
was
think his head went into the post. It was just like his head
his
got
eye.
jammed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it didn't look good from the one angle I saw. It looked like his head hit the post, maybe just hit the side of the net, and just the way he went down was the bad part. The only update we have on him right now is that he's in concussion protocol.
yeah.
So
He
that's
didn't skate in the morning skate on Tuesday,
but the
right?
Hawks
That's the only
get
thing.
Hawks get a 5 minute power play off of that and just weren't able to do anything. Their power play was bad this game. They only got 5 shots on goal during the power play. Luckily, Taves did get a power play goal in that one, but the first goal to go into for the Islanders was just bad luck. Soderblom comes in and again, fantastic game. I thought he played great coming in. I mean, I think it helped too that he is fresh off warmups. It wasn't like he was coming in completely cold.
Yeah.
Still played 55 minutes, but yeah, I thought he played fantastic. That first goal on the power play just kind of squeezed through his equipment. Didn't quite know where it was. It was just sitting there for Honors Lee to literally just poke it into the net. Second period, no goals were scored. Again, that was a lot of penalties too, I believe, in that second period as well.
Maybe.
No, that was the end of the first. Sorry, I misspoke. That's when Kara took a tripping penalty against Aho. Anthony Siu took a goaltender interference, which
Classic Luis
classic,
Mendoza
yeah,
mentality.
hard to the net and just didn't even look like he stopped. Tried to stop it all. I don't think he could stop, even if he wanted to. Dickinson took just a stupid cross-checking penalty against Brock Nelson. And then again in the second period, Anthony again with another penalty, holding the stick. Like it's just, he leads the team in penalty minutes, I think, and it's
That's
just
grit, baby.
it's lazy penalties by him too. It's a combination of the lazy penalties and just being like too fast again. Like the
Yeah,
amount
it's pretty
of
funny.
times it's like it makes no sense. Like that guy should not be leading the team in penalties.
Yeah, I don't know if his penalties actually ever occur in the defensive zone. you know?
Yeah. But then it's like we were saying too that like once they got that 1-0 lead, they just neutral zone shut down. Hawks
hmm
had a hard time getting anything going. No goals in the second period, third period. Brock Nelson, which was such a broken play. Like the one time that the Hawks had a lot of pressure going, and they
Yeah.
just somehow the puck gets out. Brock Nelson takes it and he buries it to make him two to
He
one.
I think that was definitely one that Soderblom really wants back too, because it
Yeah,
wasn't like anything spectacular. I think he got a piece of it and it was just like not enough, you know?
it was just
It
yeah,
just
it was just
finds its way to the back of the
so
net.
such a frustrating sequence. Like I think a guy on the Islanders was missing a stick. There was a broken stick on there. There's a
hmm
loose stick on the. It just looked like a goddamn disaster. And the Hawks' best opportunity with the offensive opportunity that entire game was in that little sequence there, and it just sucks that it turns into an Islanders goal, taking the lead. Couple minutes later, like I said, Tays on the power play. Then Zach Parise, empty net goal. Yeah, not much to say about this one. It was a slow, boring game, and it's just not the type of games you want this team to be losing. It's if you're gonna lose, make it exciting, kind of thing. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, I agree, but like it's not like they didn't try.
No, yeah, it's
It's
just
just they got shut down. Their power play just couldn't really get much going either. But yeah,
yeah, both teams
it was
one
a
for
little boring to
four.
watch.
Yeah, both teams were 1 for 4 in the power play.
Yeah,
Um, that was the Islanders' fourth straight win. That was the Hawks' fourth straight loss. So I think
yeah.
what you're seeing with Chicago too, it's just as the injuries start to pile up, Johnson's out, Seth Jones is out, Mraz, it's out. Stalak's going to be out now. It's like you're going to kind of see more what expectations were going into the season, I think.
But
Then,
like I said before we even started talking about the games, is like all these games are close. I mean,
yeah,
without the empty netter, that's a 1 goal game.
yeah, 2-1.
The Edmonton game, that's a 1 goal game, and they score that with like 40 seconds left in the game. The other 2 games are overtime games. Like
You haven't had
those
that
those
blowout.
could have easily been wins, but they turned out to be losses. And even the wins that we had, like those could have easily been losses that turned out to be wins. Like it's just they're gonna go down to the wire every game. I don't know if they're gonna blow anybody out, and I don't know if they're gonna get blown out, but it's gonna be fun, exciting hockey,
The
except for this
closest they've
Islanders one.
been, the closest it's been to a blowout was the first game of the season, 5-2 to Colorado, and that really wasn't a blowout either.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh yeah, other than that, like everything's been very close. Like that Seattle game, they were down 3-4. They scored 2 goals in like less than a minute, and then they won.
just
Florida
don't
was a 3-2, I think, with an empty netter. It's yeah, it's exciting hockey. It's good. I
just
like it.
don't just don't give up. That's all we ask
Oh yeah.
is just don't give up. Just fight and like we said, Richardson's mindset is make the team you're playing earn what they're gonna get against you. And I think the Hawks are doing a good job with that.
Yeah. Um
3 stars of the
so
week from
well, I was gonna say just a couple other things.
yes.
I thought it was pretty funny that Jared Tenorti has played more games this season than he played all of last year, which they mentioned a few times. He played like 7 games last year for the Rangers, and he's played 10 so far this season. Yeah, he also leads the team in hits. And I was telling my wife, I was like, I would hate to be somebody on the other team facing the Hawks that has Jared Tenorti playing as much as he is because he's 6'6" and 230, and he leads the team in hits. A team that fucking hits like all the time. And it's just, I would fucking hate to be out there. If the puck gets dumped in the corner, I'd be like, you fucking get it. Because there's no way I'm going to go get murdered by this guy. Like, I just think it's hilarious. And
All the times
it's
like
funny to
Alex
me that he ends up
Nylander,
getting 2 assists in that one game against the Wild, I think. Yeah.
all the time Alex Nylander, William Nylander get shit on for not going in the corner. And it's like, oh no, we get it now. Like if that's what you're going against, no, I wouldn't go in the corner either.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm not gonna be. I'd like to keep my career going.
That's crazy. I didn't realize he's played so few games.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I feel like he's been around super long, but he hasn't played like a full season for any team.
There is only one player on the Hawks who has played every single game this year that has not registered a single hit. Name that Hawk.
Oh, have they played every game?
Yes.
Is it Kane? But it
No.
might be. No, it's not. Okay. Um,
Kane has
is it?
3.
Ooh, damn. Is it Athanasiou?
No.
Who is
Are
it?
you kidding me, Mr. Penalty leader?
Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't. It doesn't mean he actually gets hits
True.
like legally. Hitting the goalie doesn't count.
Jonathan Taves,
Taves doesn't have a hit.
according to Hockey Reference.
What? That's wild.
And
Here's another
okay,
cool stat. Weird because you talk about faceoffs. Hawks are number 1 in the league in faceoff percentage.
I know they're killing it. And I was speaking of
Pretty
faceoffs.
good. Pretty good.
Faceoffs one. So Matt Stome, he's 97 for 49 in the faceoff draw, in the faceoff dot.
97 for 49. You mean 97 and 49?
Yeah, 97. I meant like a record. So win loss. Yeah, I meant
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
It's like
97 49. Taze is 110 and 65.
that's good. That's really
Taze is
good.
62.9 and Dome is a 66.4.
Jesus.
Radish is a 66.7, but he's only taken 3 draws.
Hey, and he's won 2 of them, so that's good. I mean, that's great. That's good stats. Okay, but you said 3 stars, I think.
3 stars.
Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention too, I guess we can do it after. That's fine. Who would you say is one of the stars of the last past week?
I'm taking the easy cop out and saying Jonathan Taves.
Okay.
3
Okay.
goals, 1 assist for 4 points. Where else is he at? He is also has 2 power play points in that span. And he is shooting a 42.9% last week.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, he is. Good stuff. Um. Ooh, because I really want to say I'm torn between 2.
I'm hoping you go off the book because if I have to pick the third one.
Oh, I mean, I know I got 2.
Okay, yeah, let's see. Who do you got?
So, Domi is
Domi.
1.
Yeah.
Just because like I think he played great this week, and then that fight that he had against Tyson Jost when Kaner got hit, it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care if that line's not super huge. Like, you just know I'm not gonna fuck around with Kane. And then
Domi
my third
was
one
a power
was,
play goal, 2 power play points.
mhm.
Okay.
And then my other one was gonna be Arvid Soderblom.
Okay.
Because even though he didn't get a win, he went 0-1-1. He still had a 920 save percentage. And when we're talking about like he's been playing solid, like yeah, like in the 2-ish games that he and Stalock both played, Stalock has like 3 games played just because of the 2 minutes that he played in the Islanders game. They each had 75 shots against, but Soderblom made 69 saves to Alex Stalock 66.
All right, I like that.
I mean, he came in and played very solid on a team that like isn't expected to do that great. I mean, if he plays that well, who knows? Like he'll probably end up getting a few wins this upcoming week.
Oh yeah. Sorry, do you want to give him the 3rd star?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Why? Who else were you thinking?
I was thinking Kane too. I mean, he put up 5
Mm.
points. He kind of
Oh
is
yeah, I mean he did lead the
waking
team in
up,
points
yeah,
this week.
waking up a little bit. Not that he wasn't like performing before, but it was kind of like this was the first week where it was like,
He did
boom.
look a little sluggish in the earlier games, like he wasn't excited to play, and then that's when like Lafferty and Dickinson were like taking over, and he's like, okay, we're actually gonna start winning games,
This could
like,
be
and he
cool.
seemed
But
he seemed more excited, yeah.
so
Um,
yeah. Who do you want for the 1st or 2nd star?
oh, I don't care. Domi.
Let's give
Oh,
Domi the
mixed.
1st star for the fight.
Okay. And Tay's 2nd star.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, looking ahead real quick here. The Hawks have 2 games in the upcoming week, recording week, I guess we should say. They got LA on Thursday, so tonight when this is being released, LA is 6-6, and they're currently just outside of a playoff spot in the divisional setting, right behind Seattle, which is just fucking mind blowing. But we'll get to that in a second here when we get to NHL talk. And then we also have Winnipeg on Saturday, who is 5-3-1, who is another nice little surprise that I don't think a lot of teams really expected. You're not teams, people expected going into this year that Winnipeg would be. I think people expected Winnipeg to be in the middle.
Yeah.
Not bad enough where they can, get a good draft position, but not good enough where they're gonna make a
Really
run in the playoffs.
contend.
Yeah, they're just gonna be there. Other news, real quick. We mentioned Seth Jones was placed on the IR, still on concussion protocol. Dylan Wells signed to a 1-year, $750,000 2-way deal, essentially to kind of just give the Hawks a little extra insurance in the goalie position. You mentioned too, Mrazek.
Mrazek is practicing. He's on the ice. The other thing too, why they actually signed that kid as well, was because Jackson Stauber, who was playing in the AHL, the kid that was in Providence last year, I believe. Yeah. He also got hurt in an AHL game, so it was like we couldn't bring him up if we really needed to. So that's why they signed that one kid, Dylan Wells.
One quick thing too. I remember Richardson yesterday. Coach Richardson was saying, he goes, I looked down the hall and I saw the e-bug half dress, and I was like, oh man, maybe I should go introduce myself. I don't know who it is. He goes, nothing against the guy, but I'm just glad we didn't have to see him on the ice or something like that.
I was kind of hoping it would happen. I was like,
2.0.
Well, I mean, if we ended up with a dub, that'd be great. But
right.
One of the other things, since we're talking about the goalies, Stalock and Mrazek really, like, I guess, released, or they have new helmet designs.
So for Native American Heritage Month, they designed some helmets to, like, really show off. I don't know what's like the right word to say.
They were Native artists that designed the helmets. It's very similar to what Fleury did last year.
Yeah, which was cool.
And then he kept that helmet until he got traded, because that helmet was sweet.
Yeah,
these ones look really cool too.
Yeah, I really
love it.
Yeah, I hope that's the start of a new tradition for Blackhawk goalies. Every November they bust out a helmet like that.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. Let's see if I can pull it up. So the masks are designed by one of the artists is Nicole Bandit Gray, and she's from the Potawatomi tribe. And the other one is Patrick Hunter, who was from the Ojibwe tribe as well. And I don't know who did what, because I don't think they labeled whose design is whose. But they look fucking really cool.
It's just like the simplicity of them too is just what's so sick about it. Like,
yeah, and I like Mrazek's because it's just the black and white, but then there's like a really faint, like just like the secondary logo, just kind of woven in a little bit.
Yeah, they're super sick.
Yeah, huge fan. And it looks like they're just kind of like freehand as well, which is really, really awesome. But yeah, I love that. I love that they do that. I think that's something, like you said, like I hope they continue to do for the future, because that's really cool.
100%. All right, got anything else for Hawks?
No.
All right, no. Let's whip through NHL Talk here. So yeah, end of October, we posted our teams and players of the month. Tanner, you picked the Vegas Golden Knights as your team of the month. They finished the month 8-2, with 32 goals for, 17 goals against. You also took Carter Hart, who had a 5-0-1 record with a 93.8 save percentage and a 2.31 goals against average. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. Nobody thought that Philadelphia would be playing as well as they did, and after the last couple seasons that Carter Hart had, nobody really thought that he was going to be that guy that he was like his rookie season, and he's so far still hasn't lost in regulation. They just lost to the Rangers yesterday on the first in overtime in a 1-0 game. So he's been playing out of his mind, and it's pretty fucking cool. I just like it when goalies do well. Like I love that Ottinger is just killing it. It's just good shit. Like when the league has like really great like high scoring like teams and games, but you still have like these guys that are just like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm going to just shut the door all day. And so I think it's just awesome to see. And especially when it's not the same guys every year, you know.
It's exciting to see. Like, yeah, it's great seeing Vlasic do good and all that kind of stuff. But
Vlasic.
Oh,
Vasilevsky.
Oh my god. Jesus. Vasilevsky do good and all that kind of stuff.
Vasilevsky,
yeah, like it's nice to see, like you said, especially Carter Hart, who was projected to be just this unbelievable goalie prospect, and I kind of feel like he kind of got screwed being brought up way too early.
Yeah.
Same thing's kind of going with Spencer Knight in Florida too a little bit, but he's been doing all right, but so I took New Jersey Devils, who went 6-3, 6-3-0, 31 goals for, 23 goals against. They started off very bad and they kind of really turned it up, and it's just kind of asking the question, is this finally the year that the Devils, take that next step and be a good team? I feel like they are always one of those teams that's always making moves. Like in the offseason, people are like, okay, this is the year. It's the Devils are going to be good. They're going to compete. And then year after year, they miss the playoffs and they miss it badly. But so we'll have to see if they can keep that going up. Like, I mean, they were already talking about Ruff losing his job after like game 2 or game 3 or something like that. Like
Jeez.
it was insane. And then I took David Pastrnak for my player of the month. 7 goals, 7 goals, 10 assists for 17 points, and he had 7 power play points as well during the month of October. And Boston has just been
Damn.
A unit, which
Yeah.
again, I don't think anybody really predicted given the injuries that they had going into the season. Everybody's coming back early. Marchand's back like way too early. McAvoy, I think, is back now too. All guys that were supposed to be like end of the year coming back. Like it's insane. But I guess that folds right into the Nets little note here we have here, like surprises in the first month of hockey. Like what has been a surprise for you?
Toronto sucks. Well, one of the things I was gonna say, the reason why I didn't choose like Boston as like my team of the month was just because like I don't feel like their strength of schedule was as like hard as like Vegas, because they got to beat up on some pretty bad teams like the Coyotes and like
They've won
Anaheim.
6 in a row now.
Yeah, there's Columbus. Like Penguins suck too. Like they're on what, like a 5-game losing streak. It's weird. Like I feel like some of these things were predictable. Like Vancouver not winning a game and losing so many in a row with having a lead was pretty hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's that first team to ever do it, have a multi-goal lead in 4 consecutive games and to blow it and lose.
Yeah. Calgary not being towards the top of the standings in the Pacific is weird. But I
They've only
don't know if
played
that
8 games.
yeah. There's a few teams that have. I love that St. Louis started 3-0 and now they're 3-5. That's just beautiful.
And we talked about before we started recording, Bennington getting pulled and it's immediately goes and starts chirping at the LA bench.
Yeah, if I was on LA, I would just laugh at him. I would just hysterically laugh and not even say anything.
All that was missing was this tough guy fake punch or swinging of his stick.
I'm sure he wanted to. I don't want them to finish last in the division though. I want them to just miss the playoffs, but also not be in the bottom 10 so that they can get a middle of the road draft pick, and not be in the lottery. Nashville not. I thought Nashville would be a little bit better, but like they're struggling. Colorado not being at the top of the division is like really weird, but also losing Burakovsky, losing Kadri. I think Nichushkin's hurt actually too, and he started the season really hot, which I didn't know, man. I thought that maybe it was just a flash in the pan. He had a good season, but like he fucking was taken off from the start this year. And then they also go with like Georgiev, and I never really thought he was going to be that great, and I still don't think he is.
Colorado, once they get full strength, it's gonna be I think it's a different story. They're kind of
right. They haven't had Landeskog yet, have they?
Oh. He's up till like January too, I think. I don't know if this counts as a surprise or not, but holy shit, Mullet Arena is fucking awesome.
I love that. The guys that have come out and said it's like a wild and awesome atmosphere.
Like the atmosphere, I think everything about it sucks up until the point you get on the ice for the actual game.
I want to go so bad, but the tickets, like the cheapest ticket's like $275.
Oh, yeah. The atmosphere looks amazing. Like it doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to, like the actual stadium part of it. Like it actually looks very like an amazing, like the fact that that's a college rink is awesome. Like good for Arizona State.
Yeah.
That's sick. The locker room situation still sucks. I hate that. But I think in general, I was very surprised at how impressed I actually was with the arena itself once you actually got out there and saw highlights and the games being played out there. And they got their first win against Florida yesterday.
At Mullet.
Yep.
And then what? They have one more game there, and then they're done for the rest of the month.
Yeah, something like that. And they
I
give
think
out
they
everybody a free mullet in the first game. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
which
your
is
game,
hilarious.
but I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I wonder what's gonna happen with Philly because I think that JVR and Couture just went down for like long times. So I don't know if they'll be able to hold on, but they're playing Toronto tonight, so they'll probably win. Toronto literally cannot win a game.
Yeah.
I don't understand what their deal is.
See the first coach that's gonna get fired, or first coach that's gonna get fired, Sheldon Keefe.
I don't know, maybe because that's what Toronto does. Like, I mean, not what Toronto does, but like they're expecting way better. But like, what is Keith supposed to do? Like, you can't go out there and score for them.
Yeah.
Like, Anaheim Ducks were on a 7-game losing streak and they beat Toronto. They came from behind and won in OT. It's like, how do you not hold a lead against a team that's lost 7 in a row?
Someone's got to give in Toronto. They got to make some sort of change there.
I
Last
like
thing
that Tortorella came. Did you see the quote from Tortorella today?
no.
So he said about all the rumblings about like, oh, they should fire Keefe. He's like, Keefe's an excellent coach. Like, you put him on any team, they're gonna do great. And I think that this team has all the ability to turn around under him, but just not tonight.
God, I love him. The league is better with him in coaching. I'm sorry.
Here, you know what? Let me pull up the real like quote instead of just being like off the top of my head. He said, "You guys don't know what he's done for that team. You guys chuck darts at him because you want some results. He's a terrific coach. I hope he jams it to you all. Quite honestly, not tonight." That's so funny.
That is awesome. All right. Last thing I have on my list of stuff to talk about here is we are now in November, which everybody knows is American Thanksgiving is right around the corner. And one of my favorite stats out there is teams that are in a playoff position come Thanksgiving night, American Thanksgiving night, have a 77% chance of making the playoffs. I think this might potentially be the first year that stat goes down a lot. So real quick, let's just run through the teams that are in playoff position as of November 2nd. And we'll just say real quick, yes or no if they make the playoffs. New Jersey.
Yes.
Yes, I think yes. 7-3. Yeah, they're 7-3 as of right now.
They're Jesper Bratt's having a great year. Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes are just a great 1-2 punch down the middle. I think they can hold on. Defensively, they're not letting up a ton of goals. So if they're able to keep this up and stay healthy, that's one of the things that happened last year. Was Jack Hughes only played like 50-something games because he got injured. They could have a big year. They could have a big year. Yeah, he sure was out too.
All right. Second place in the Metro, the New York Rangers, 6-3-2. Do they make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Carolina, 6-2-1.
Yeah.
All right.
I still think Carolina will end up being first place. They've played 9 games.
Yeah.
And they're only 1 point behind those teams that played 10 and 11.
Yeah. All right. The Atlantic leaders, Boston, 9-1. I think, yeah. Unless something like drastic happens, I think
what's going to happen is you're going to see them start to play like the better teams because currently they've played a lot of pretty bad teams. They've still won games against good teams, but they lost to like Ottawa 7-5.
They're doing themselves a huge favor though by winning against the bad teams. Like that's what makes or breaks the teams right there. It's like they're taking advantage of playing the bad teams. They're not giving away games, anything like that. That was a huge problem for the Hawks a lot of the years. Buffalo Sabres, 6-3.
No. No.
Tampa Bay Lightning, 6-4.
Absolutely make it.
All right. And sitting in wildcard positions right now, the Philadelphia Flyers, 5-2-2.
With the long-term injuries that just came out to JVR and like Couturier, like I don't know. It's really real tough, but like Tortorella's had them playing very well so far. and Carter Hart's been stellar. So if they keep that up, yeah. But I don't know. I think there's some teams that are going to be able to make a jump in this next month or so, and probably end up passing them.
All right, and then the last wildcard team is the New York Islanders, 6-4.
I still think that they're going to make it. It's that boring hockey that we just watched.
Yeah. All right, so then real quick, out of the teams that are out of it right now, Washington, Florida, Detroit, Montreal, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Ottawa, Columbus. Any of those teams you think has
I mean, Toronto's got to make it.
Toronto, Florida,
and that's it.
and then Washington too, man. I think
I don't know. Not really.
no.
Because I think that's where like the toss up is. Because like for right now, I think New Jersey can still hold on, so that takes a spot. I think Buffalo's going to be out, so that's who.
But Buffalo would probably be Toronto.
That's going to be Toronto
or Florida.
And then I don't know if Philly's going to be able to hold on to that wild card spot, so Florida would end up taking one of those.
I think Toronto and Florida are one's gonna take the Atlantic position and one's gonna take a wild card for sure. I think the Islanders are gonna hold on to that last wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Western Conference, Central Division, Dallas, 6-3-1.
Yeah, I think Dallas is a solid team. Jake Otter.
The Otter.
I think he's amazing. Jason Robertson's insanely good. They have just a solid lineup. They overpay like the guys that aren't their biggest producers.
Yeah.
But it still works. Who knows, man? Pavelski's still grinding at 39 years old.
God bless him. All right, Winnipeg, 5-3-1.
I think they can hold on.
I think they dropped a wild card.
Yeah, I don't know if they stay like that high in the Central.
Yeah, I think they take that. I think the wild card.
Yeah. Now, thinking about it because Colorado's not up there. Colorado's going to end up being in the top 3.
Minnesota 5-4-1.
I think that they can hold on. They're still a solid team. Like their beginning of the season, like issues where they couldn't fucking keep the puck out of the net. That wasn't something that's gonna probably be a season long issue for them. They've been turning it around actually recently.
Pacific, you got Vegas 9-2.
Vegas, I think, is gonna hold on. Also, that's kind of funny. Is it nope, never mind. Sorry. I was just looking at their goal differential, and Minnesota's at a -1, and they're like the only team in the top 3 of their division with a minus goal differential. It just kind of goes to show you that like they let in a lot of goals in those losses that they had.
Oh yeah. Edmonton Oilers 7-3.
Yeah. Connor McDavid's insane. You have Leon Draisaitl as well. You don't need anything else.
Both Vegas and Edmonton are currently on 5-game win streaks, by the way.
Do they play each other soon?
I don't know. That's a good question. Seattle 5-4-2.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think they're like the Hawks. I think they're gonna be in there and they're gonna steal some points and all that. But I think ultimately it's gonna catch up to them, and they're just not gonna be able. They're not built long term for a full season of like that. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but from what I'm getting from Seattle, because I haven't really heard like, oh, this guy's like exploding, this guy's doing amazing. It's like it's a team effort, That's kind of what the Hawks are getting.
Yeah,
and they've beaten some pretty hard teams. Like they just beat Calgary. They beat the Sabres, who's been hot this year so far. They beat Colorado. Like Seattle's a weird one.
Minnesota's the only team in a playoff spot right now that's got a negative goal differential.
LA.
Oh, LA. Sorry, yeah, LA, Minnesota. 2 teams. That's hilarious. So LA, 6-6 for 12 points. Do they stay?
Yeah, I could see it.
And then Calgary.
They made the playoffs last year. I think they can still do it again.
Yeah. And then Calgary.
Calgary, yeah. Calgary should make it. They, on paper, are better than they were last year. But last year at this point, I think they were like first in the league. And then because I think Markstrom had like 7 shutouts already.
Yeah, something like that. It's stupid. And then the teams sitting outside right now: Chicago, Colorado, Arizona, Nashville, Anaheim, San Jose, St. Louis, Vancouver. And I think Colorado is the only one that I can see truly making the jump. I think you can make a case for Nashville.
Like for sure being in. Yeah.
Yeah, you can make a case for Nashville. You can make a case for St. Louis because I mean, St. Louis was in a worse situation. Kind of a similar situation. They were the worst team in the league going into what was the January of the year they won the cup?
January 1st.
Yeah, and then they end up going to the playoffs, winning the cup. Like, I mean, they know how to battle that situation. Well, they don't, but yeah, I don't see the Ducks. I don't see San Jose. Definitely not Vancouver. Arizona, I can't. Chicago, no.
Yeah, San Jose's already lost like a lot of games. They played like the most in the league so far, or they're like tied for the most games played in the league so far. 3-8-1. Like
Yikes.
Erik Karlsson is having himself a fantastic year.
EK 65, baby.
I really want to get an EK 65
Golden Seal
Sharks jersey.
Golden Sharks.
Golden Sharks, yeah.
So that's another little storyline to look into. Pay attention as we get close to American Thanksgiving. And I got nothing else. How about you?
No. That's it. That's all I got, I think.
Episode 198. What do you want to call it?
It's the same thing, like Hawks, but just with 4 L's. Hawks. No, what could we? I don't know. It's just like 0-2-2 ain't that bad.
How about it could be worse?
At least we have exciting hockey.
Too long, man. Too long.
Yeah. It's gotta be short and sweet.
Yeah. It could be worse.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it
could be worse.
Yeah. All right. So episode 198. Make sure to follow us on all social media at WCB Podcast. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Love you, boys. Bye.
The Windy City Benders Podcast. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. And follow the boys on socials at WCB Podcast.